This week, Santa Fe Police Chief Eric Garcia announced he is retiring after just 13 months on the job. Mr. Garcia was criticized for some decisions as chief, including rehiring Lieutenant Jason Wagner, who was arraigned this week on 3 counts of time card fraud. But local media reports that he had support from officers in the ranks on other policy decisions, like reinstituting a 4-day work week, which cost the city more in overtime hours. Laura, let's see. Stability in the chief position, we go through this in Albuquerque as well, but in Santa Fe there seems to be something there that just isn't quite sticking. It's a lot of chiefs that sort of come and go. But how does that impact trust in a department? Let's start with the big overall question. How does that impact trust in a department when the chiefs kind of leave so quickly?
Right.
What's the story there? Yeah.
You know, a rotating administration. I mean, I think it creates a lot of instability. Unfortunately, you know, it means that there's no leadership. You know, there's sort of this doubt that there'll be a continuity in terms of priorities,
right.
An overall vision and long-term just sustainability by the department. And then I think that it has to affect morale as well. I can't imagine that, and I'm not surprised to see if the officers have an issue. I mean, I think that it affects morale quite a bit when you see people leaving so quickly and no stability there. It makes you feel like, you know, why can't we keep a leader in place? And so in this case, I think what's unusual is I think he's retiring. Is that correct? And so that's, yeah, I mean, that's pretty young to be retiring, but, you know, certainly he has the right to do that. And I think that certainly we want to see somebody who stays for the long haul, or at least longer than a year.
Rachel, this rehire of Mr. Wagner, Lieutenant Wagner, is interesting, though. It wasn't as if it was unknown, these punch card, you know, violations. We can't guess why the reason was for the rehire, but we can also guess it would be problematic for other officers, I would imagine, at the lieutenant level to have somebody come back that's been proven to have some issues that way. That's another instability issue, isn't it?
You know, it's interesting. There's so much scrutiny on police chiefs and police departments now, and rightfully so, both on what officers are doing in the community and what's going on internally. So it seems like I wouldn't be surprised if I haven't seen any statistics on chief tenure, but I'm sure it's probably going down nationally. The thing that really interested me about this situation is that the outgoing chief made a point of saying when he was interviewed by the Journal, I'm available for any consulting gigs you want me for. So we probably haven't seen the last of him.
Maybe get together with Ray Schultz, the former little company. You never know. Sorry about that.
Camera, lapel camera.
Right, exactly. You know, Diane, there's again, these all stories are local, as they say. And you never know in the reporting, you know, the Journal did a great job trying to, you know, root into this. Certainly it's not over. But it seems to me that the union chief supporting the chief of police is an interesting dynamic compared to what we usually see. Usually the unions, you know.
I was reading all these articles and I literally could not get that piece to compute in my head because usually it's the officers supporting the chief and the union supporting officers.
That's right.
But I think that it goes back to what Laura and Dan were saying is the instability of what's going on. People take one little rule, one little happening, and focus on it.
That's right.
I mean, people love four-day work weeks, and certainly hourly people do.
That's right.
So I can see how that would be very attractive. But then the chief is also responsible for the financial well-being of the department. And with increased overtime, there's an additional responsibility. Now, I'm going to cheerfully make the assumption that he looked at it and said, the morale and what this will do for our officers is better and worth spending the money for. So that is a good management decision. You look at it and you do that. But the inconsistency in the fact that he's 42 years old, I'm going, really?
Right.
It seems to me like there's more there than what we're seeing at the moment.
That's right.
And you know, we've joked about the fact that at least currently he's retiring, not going to jail.
Right.
But we're
that's a positive, right?
Yeah, that's a positive.
That's right.
Nowadays.
That's right.
But we just might not know what else is going to come out.
That's
so
right.
I think the story's not over.
Yeah, Dan, you know, interestingly, Mayor Gonzalez, of course, has a decision to make. These are always difficult decisions. Somebody from the inside that knows the community, somebody from New Mexico, like this person is, he had been in Cruces previously, or someone from out of state to come in and say, look, the ball game's over. We're starting over. But that's a tough thing to do in a small town of 50,000 people, where everyone's connected in some capacity.
So you know, you got the Albuquerques where you look at APS, you look at the police department. They're constantly going out of the state to bring people in, which is okay. That's their philosophy. You know, we got to be honest. Santa Fe is. There's probably no place more political than the city of Santa Fe. I mean, it is a very tough, political, active community. Everybody is tied in somehow.
Yep.
Everybody is tied in, whether it's through a relative or a friend. And so I think that being a police officer in Santa Fe has got to have some issues that are more difficult than most other places. And you know,
is it worth the extra pay to get
well, that's just the thing.
talent?
And is it worth extra pay? I mean, what is the extra pay it's going to take to get someone to come in? And then you got a department that, you know, and we're seeing this in Albuquerque right now. You get these departments like in Santa Fe, like in Albuquerque, that are so incestuous. You know, it's somebody's hiring their brother, they're hiring their son, they're hiring their high school buddy. And, you know, if you make one person mad, you got, you know, a quarter of the department angry at you. So I think a lot of these folks that would want these jobs, that would say I could come in and make some changes, they start looking and they read the tea leaves and they're like, I don't think this is a fight I want to pick up. So it's going to be interesting to see. You know, the mayor's got a tough task ahead of them. You know, they've got some issues in Santa Fe. Crime, you know, it's gone down. The property crime, the articles I talked about have gone down in the last year and a half or so. But you know, there's other crimes that are on the rise up there, and they've got other charges of things they got to deal with. You know, we talked about this last week, Gene. They got a huge drug problem up in that community and in that surrounding area that those police have to deal with on a daily basis. So, you know, I think you're gonna have to find the right person. I think the question is, will the mayor put together the group to go find the right person for the job, or are they going to find a person to put in a job and make the job the right fit for that person? That's going to be the question.
That's all the time we have this week. Join us online to hear what these panelists have to say about the news this week that former APD officer Levi Chavez was admitted to the UNM Law School. I'm Gene Grant. This week we bid a fond farewell to Randy Lantz, who sits in the director's chairs for us here at New Mexico in Focus. Randy has been a dedicated employee here at New Mexico PBS for more than 2 decades. We wish him well in his post-retirement adventures. Look for him out on the trail with his 2 dogs having a great time. As always, we appreciate your time and effort to stay informed and engaged. We'll see you next week in Focus. And Randy Lantz, this is for you. 3, 2, 1, woof.